Hello, everyone. We're continuing our check-ins this week with local residents on their reasons for getting the COVID-19 vaccine when it's available in their community. Today, we're checking in with Susan O'Hanley in Canso. Hi, Susan. How are things in Canso today?
Well, it's a bit snowy, but it's cozy in the house here.
Susan, thanks for taking a little time to chat with us today. I think I'm talking to different people in different areas that we cover at the Journal about their reasons for getting the COVID-19 vaccine. But first, I wanted to start by asking you, how has the pandemic affected you and your family personally?
Well, if I go back to this time last year, we were preparing for a trip into the southern part of the States. We were going to New Orleans and into Florida. And anyway, the whole talk about the virus was very little talk. There wasn't much being said at all. And anyway, so we left to go to the city, and we were going to fly out the next day. And because they were talking a little bit about it, we thought, well, let's go get some sanitizer and things to take with us and that sort of thing, just in case, like to wipe down the seats of the plane and all that kind of thing. So we're at a Walmart in Dartmouth, just a little Walmart, and this lady came up to us in the same section we were in. She said, "Oh, you've heard?" And I said, "Heard? Heard what?" "Oh," she said, "my daughter's a doctor, and she just called me and she said, 'Mom, I want you to go out right away. I want you to go to the store and I want you to get hand sanitizer and this and that.'" And she said, "Because there's something coming that it's going to be really bad." And I went, "No, I didn't hear that, but thanks for the tip." She said, "Oh yeah." She said, "Get food, get this, get that." I said, "Okay." So anyway, we just said, well, let's stock up a little bit on this stuff because obviously there's something coming. So then we leave and go to the States. And when we're in New Orleans, like the American news really had very little about well, it wasn't even being called a pandemic at that point. I don't think it was just the virus, right? And, we'd meet people on the street and we'd ask because it didn't seem like the news was really saying much about it. And they just didn't seem like it was a big deal to anyone. And, as we were there for like a total of 3 weeks between New Orleans and Fort Lauderdale area. And, as time went on, you kind of thought, there's something going on. And we're talking to people back here and they're saying, things are not, sounding too great. You guys should think about coming home. And I'm like, but where is all this news here? And so anyway, it was kind of strange because it took us a good 2 weeks down there to really start to get worried and think, oh my gosh, there is something going on here. And my husband's asthmatic. So it got to the point with us that we really did get nervous. And so we decided we had went to the Florida Keys for a drive on a Sunday. And on our way back, we were with my brother and his wife, and we just said, we're going to opt out to go back home. We felt really good about getting home. How did it affect us when we got home? Of course, we had to isolate for 2 weeks, which in a small town is not a big deal. I mean, we basically didn't even leave the house. I mean, our daughter got groceries, left them on the doorstep for us, and we did that whole thing. But I think the hardest thing for us, because we had been away for a couple of weeks, came home, couldn't visit. Like, we would normally stop at my son's in Dartmouth and see those kids and whatever. Well, we couldn't do that. And then when we got home, we couldn't see our grandkids here. The odd time they'd come and wave to us through the window or whatever. And then when we could get out, we still weren't allowed to visit them. So, again, it was window visits and that sort of thing. So that, I think, was the hardest part, because we really went so long without being able to even hug a grandchild, right? So
I think it's been really hard on grandparents, even when, remember there was that period of time where people were asked not to go to the capital region? And a lot of
yes,
grandparents in our area, have their grandchildren down there. And I think that was really hard too.
yeah. And I think the whole travel thing, it was very bizarre to be in an American airport and then come into Toronto, and the difference. Like, it was just totally different. Like, it just seemed like it was way more serious here than it was there. And that's my opinion.
Mhm.
It just seemed like it to us. And it was quite a marked difference to get off the plane in Toronto and then again in Halifax and see how much stricter things seem to be.
I know people are really looking forward to getting the vaccine, and it'll be done, by ages. And we know that some of our more elderly people will get it first, which is wonderful, in our nursing homes.
Yes.
I assume that you're planning to get it. I think from our earlier conversations, you're planning to get the
Yeah.
vaccine. And everybody has, a little bit of a take on their own personal reasons why they're going to do that. Why is getting the vaccine important for you, Susan, when it's available to you?
Well, I think number one is we live in such a small community. It really would only take one person coming in here with the virus to really, do some harm in this community. So I really think it's very, very important that, in an isolated community, you really should take it serious and you really should try to do all the things that we have to and get yourself vaccinated. As well for us, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, Brian is asthmatic. So to me, that's really important because, I'm fairly healthy, but, and he's quite healthy, but I mean, being an asthmatic, he doesn't need any breathing issues, so for me, that's very important. And and the other thing, this is a very, we have a large senior population here as well. So, I think we have to think about protecting others besides protecting ourselves. And I think that's how we can do it, by getting the vaccine and following all the rules as much as we can, right?
Terrific. Well, I think those are as good as reasons as any, and the reasons I think that a lot of people share, Susan. So
Yeah.
thanks very much for taking some time today to talk to us about it, and happy shoveling as you get out of this storm, and you guys stay safe.
You too. Thanks very
Okay.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.